You gotta make sure not to give it water. Can't feed it past midnight. I would screw up. I'd like lose it in the first 5 minutes. Hi, my name is Isaac Wang, and I play the character Sam Wing. He's a little guy. You know, he's a little immature. He's very sheltered, but then he grows up to be a cool little adventurer.
Ming-Na, and I am playing Fong Wing.
I am James Hong. I'm voicing Grandpa.
Hey, I'm BD Wong, and I'm playing Hom Wing.
Our only concern should be the Mogwai falling into the wrong hands.
Sam Wing was just a side character in the original Gremlins. Can you guys talk about how it feels to finally give him a backstory so many years later with like such a huge fan base of the franchise, and then also be able to like incorporate his like Chinese culture and everything and be a part of that?
A little stressful, a lot of pressure. You know, a lot of people are kind of just like looking at the show like it's a very different take from the original movie itself. So it's a lot of intimidation. I'm pretty intimidated, but I hope that people enjoy the show. I hope that it's mostly good vibes, not so much judgy negative. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good show. I think it's gonna get some positive feedback. So yeah.
It's the real revenge of of the whole series. To me, cultural revenge. It's like, hey, we're taking it back, and we're really like fleshing it out. And we don't get the opportunity to do that very often. So that feels really great. And it's authentic to real Chinese mythology and Chinese characters and Chinese, iconography. And so it's really great and very positive.
Yeah, I'm very excited, as a massive fan of the film. And but there was one little thing about it where like they took a Chinese mythical character of the Mogwai, and then like had Mr. Wing be sort of like the side character that just sort of was the bookends of the film. And I think it's wonderful that the same people that created Gremlins is allowing somebody like Chang to come in and give it a fresh start, where the focus is now on the origins and the original culture that brought you the Mogwai. And I'm thrilled to be with my family over here again to those characters to life. It's like a little mini reunion for us.
That's true. I went back to my village, Toisan and Kimei-san, and when I was there, I enjoy looking back into the life of my father and mother. And in a sense, this movie does that. It brings us into the world of the Gizmo people and Sam and his point of view of what it's like to be in that time with the adventures of the village. You can't help but feel that you're part of this. The sets are well done, and the people are very creative in the sense of the legend of China. So, but it's not a story about China. That's just the setting. The story itself will draw the people into the life of these characters that the producers and directors and writers have created. I think they must have spent endless nights thinking of things that they would do to make this a wonderful adventure for the fans.
Gizmo? Hi, Gizmo. I'm Sam.
Aside from it being an adventure, it kind of also is like a coming of age story for Sam, dealing with family and friends and like all the lessons that he learns along the way. Can you kind of elaborate on how he grows?
At the very start of the movie, I'm sorry, not movie. At the very start of the film, show. At the very start of the show, he's very sheltered, right? He's mature, but not mature enough. And he's not the type of kid to go out and adventure on his own, right? He just helps his parents with his medicine. With medicine. And then once the story kind of continues, like we're kind of just dodging around spoilers right now. But once the story continues, you could actually see how he just kind of evolves as a person. He learns from his mistakes, and he gets more mature than he already is, and he becomes less sheltered, and he becomes more adventurous.
Have you seen the original Gremlins?
So I watched it originally when I was pretty young, and then I watched it again just to like refresh my mind once I actually got the job. And the funny story is that when I was watching it, right, and then I did a little research, like searching up the fan base and stuff, I was just like, wow, this is a gigantic community. Like it's way bigger than what I imagined. And just to extend on this story, when I went to Comic-Con to do the little the little questions thing, the live interview, there's like 500, 600 people in the crowd. And I was just like, that is a lot of people, maybe even more. I'm not even sure, but it was a lot of people. So yeah, it's a little scary.
Ming-Na, I know you mentioned it feels great to like be a part of like this reunion because obviously you guys were in Mulan together. I want to ask how do you guys feel to be back together?
Oh, it's great. You know, I mean, and we've worked together not just in voice work. We've been, you know, person to person. And James Hong has played my father before in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. BD and I go way back, and from SVU to the most recent Nora from Queens. And I think what is great is that we have that history. So it's sort of, as actors, we draw from it. And as actors, you know, we remember how a person sounds or what their rhythms are. And it really helps when we're, you know, stuck in a booth by ourselves, that I can still hear BD or James. And it helps me to be able to play Fong with more authentic emotions and reactions.
I agree, totally agree with that. I think for me, Ming has been in a particular touchstone for me. Like I have worked with her many times, kind of like every few years, I find myself in a situation where we're put together in something, and there's something very like comforting about that, grounding, or just I trust her. I enjoy working with her. And I don't know, there's something about our energy that people kind of match up or something like that. I'm not sure what it is actually. But more than any other actor that I've kind of repeatedly worked with, I feel like, oh yes, there's something kind of like we kind of have lots of little reunions. So that's really nice. I just like that.
How did it feel to work with all these like great like OG celebrities? And were there any memorable moments during production?
The thing is that with voiceover, you don't really get to meet the other cast, especially because this was during the pandemic. It was 2019 to like 2021-ish. So that was basically just all pandemic season, right? That was like the worst time. And so I didn't really get to meet anyone. I don't think I also met anyone during Comic-Con, but I should meet some people during this Friday for the premiere. But it is really awesome working with like freaking super legends, right? Like James Hong, right? That's incredible. BD Wong is pretty sick too, and then Sandra Oh, she's like a star for me. I can't say who she is yet, but she was mentioned, so I could say it, and she's a pretty cool person. Even though I've never met her.
If you had the chance to keep a gremlin like Gizmo as a pet, would you take it, or would it be too much responsibility?
I don't think I'd last a day. I don't think I'd last like 10 minutes. It's you gotta watch where it goes, right? You gotta make sure not to give it water. Can't feed it past midnight. Can't let it doesn't like bright light. Man, I think I would screw up. I'd like lose it in the first 5 minutes, and then it would just like go outside, right? And then it'd jump in like some water or something, and then it'd start multiplying, and then my house is a wreck.
Because you guys have been in so many things together throughout the years, how does it feel to like witness firsthand together how much the industry has changed in terms of diversity?
For me, the highlight was the Oscars, you know, to have this iconic national treasure, James, being on that stage, holding that Oscar in, the winning Best Picture, and his speech, it made me cry. It moved me to tears. I cannot tell you the sense of pride and relief, the sense of that the impossible is possible, and motivating me so much to want to continue, because compared to James's illustrious career, it's like, oh, wow, I'm still a youngin', rather than feeling like I'm already at the other end of the spectrum. in this business, having been in it for like over 3 decades.
Mhm.
I am constantly.
Thank you.
It is,
Well, Ming-Na, thank you, thank you. And it just came out of my being to say what I said in the SHE award, and the fact that the producers, you know, let's say 40 years ago or 50 years ago when I started, they said the Asians, no, we can't have them as leading characters because nobody really wants to see them as the leading actors of Hollywood. You know, they're just not good enough. And besides, if they don't go to the theaters to see them, the box office will be of no value. And so I couldn't help it but look at my colleagues next to me, Michelle, and all these people, and I say, yes, look at us now. You know, we've come a long ways from that time when in Good Earth, all the leading roles were played by Caucasians with eyepieces taped up in their eyes. It sickens me to even think of it. And I act opposite one actor, J. Carrol Naish, who put that eyepiece on every day as Charlie Chan, and I just couldn't stomach it anymore. So to see this series that you're doing is really something that blossom out of the depths of Hollywood. The people are now bringing it forth, how rich the Chinese culture is, the American Chinese actors are. In a sense, we are now contributing to the industry something that is really worthwhile.
I love what my colleagues are saying. It's occurred to me that Z, who is kind of the energy behind all of this great Asian energy in this project, is a younger guy, and that he is kind of representative of a tide of Asian energy in our industry that is really welcome and has been hard won, really. And you know, Ming and I have worked on Aquafina's Noir from Queens with so much Asian energy and female energy on it, and you see that jobs and opportunities are coming to people of color and Asian people and queer people and women in a way that has been really difficult to break through. And so this project is kind of an example of what can happen when that energy is unleashed. And so my takeaway feeling is that's super positive. I mean, aside from all the other positive things that we've talked about, you know, having reunions with actors that you love working with, and all of it, and the project itself, there's this other representation that is fantastic.
and it's still such a small nugget in the whole
Yes.
picture, but we'll take it, you know?
Yes.
And just like the Gremlins, add some water and hopefully it'll just keep growing.